I talked so much about allyship I got cut off. I just want to warn you that my dog's playing right now with Mr. Bubbles. Um, so back to being an advocate in allyship. I transitioned in a residential facility of 65 mentally ill clients after I had been working there for about 3 years. So a lot of these clients had like a 3 year relationship with me as who I used to be, who I used to present as a female. So then with chronic mental illness, a lot of times they did not know what was going on. And even today, after 3 years of coming out of the closet there, they still call me by my dead name. Not all of them, but some of them do. Or they misgender me. It was really, sometimes it was really hard there in the beginning. And I've had times where I've been harassed on the job by clients. Um, most of them just actually were pretty cool. Like if you're like a residential counselor working with the mentally ill, I want you to know that you can come out of the closet, and your clients are probably gonna love you. They're gonna be like, oh my gosh, you're like more present and you're more yourself. And clients that are religious, like a lot of them are like all on the Seth like wagon and just love me just as I am. Um, but I want to speak about, yeah, like a- advocates at work. Um, there's been some advocates at work that have helped me, that have stood up for me, and have um, confronted clients and being like, hey, you know what? It's Seth now. You need to call him Seth, and it's he. And for some reason, they had to hear it from those advocates. They had to come and enforce it, even though this is like this one advocate or one staff at work. Um, probably maybe like a year and a half. I hope she is not watching. If you are, you probably figure out who you are. I've but she came in and then she started correcting their pronouns, and there was just this whole shift. Like clients, just some of them just started getting it, which was kind of part of it was kind of upsetting because it's like, why haven't you been listening to me? I've been telling him, and he like I got this beard and I got this really cool jawline and this deep voice, like. um, so that's really cool. I'm really grateful for her to do that. But there's been times having the conversation with her on what I was going through that I didn't feel validated. That and now I have this thing where I don't want to have the conversation with her because of all the times I felt invalidated. So yeah, it's interesting. She's an advocate, right? Like I think of like an advocate as somebody who it's almost like they're the middle line walkers, right? They're put in this world to give voice to people that don't have voices. Like me at my work, like I wasn't able to, for whatever reason, what I had to say about me being he didn't matter to my clients. So, but they listened to her. She was an advocate. She was the middle person that they could hear speak. Like they weren't listening to me, but they would listen to her. So she stood up and she spoke for me because I wasn't being heard. Um, that's cool. That's like like how things work in life. Sometimes we need advocates. Sometimes, but but when people speak for you, when you're right there to speak for yourself, that's that's not right. Because when you're an advocate, you don't know what it's like to be over there on the other side. And I don't care if you got your master's. I don't care if you've been working with that population for a lot of years. And I probably have to remember this too, as working with the mentally ill, the chronic mentally ill. Like, I don't know what it's like to be with them, be like them. Like, even though I've worked with them for 6 years, and I've had lots of conversations, and I've gotten to know a lot of mentally ill people, and a lot of I still don't know what it's like to live at a residential facility for the mentally ill, and I don't know what it's like to be hospitalized because of mental illness, or I don't know what it's like to hear voices or have a mental breakdown. I don't know what it's like to be subjected to, like, the system. I don't know. For me to go and invalidate everything they said, because it's confronting me as a mental health professional, like, that's not really giving space to their voice. So sometimes we have to slow down as helpers or advocates and just be like, am I hearing their voices? Am I providing a middle ground space where they can cross over and be with us? I mean, that's what's important, right? And that's like the goal. Like with mentally ill, like me as an advocate, hopefully I can stand that middle ground, help them have a voice to come over and live in society in a way where they're happy and functioning and feeling like an equal. That'd be a good goal. Same with trans advocates. Like, the trans advocate provides middle space where the trans person can, you know, feel heard, have their voice heard, and then be seen as an equal in the world. Because that should be, like, the goal, an advocate, a trans advocate, for the trans person to have their voice heard and feel like an equal in the world today. But yeah, there's been times with that staff I told you about that I didn't feel like my story was validated. I would have times I really, because I rely on my staff to provide a space for me to for support, and it's really hard when you're in, like, an environment and you don't have staff support. And when you have staff support, it makes your whole work experience so much better. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it wasn't like I didn't have her support. I mean, I had her support in certain ways, but that when it came down to some days, it was just really hard, you know, where I just wanted to come and just vent about being misgendered again, and not get lectured about how I need to be, like, understanding of being misgendered again. And this happens all the time within the transgender community. It's not just me and this certain girl. Like, there's always those well-meaning advocates that want to tell us to be understanding and supportive of people that aren't well-meaning, who continually misgender us because they do not accept us. They don't slow down and realize just how painful it is to be misgendered. And I never felt like she slowed down to, like, really understand, feel like, wow, 3 years, like, you transitioned here. 3 years with clients you've known for 3 years, and that was probably pretty hard. And you probably just want to just vent. Like, you can just vent from it. That would have been awesome. Now I avoid the subject of transgender around her because it just feels awkward.